Hello everyone, I am Crawlers and this is another episode of Ridiculous Loadout. As you may already know, this is a series I started way back when in the Battlefield 3 days, basically whoring myself out for cheap views, running a suggested loadout from one of you in the comments section. So, this time a returning viewer, Carlton Crab Pro, suggested a Modern Warfare 3 Tryhard loadout. And, well, while I don't actually like COD, or rather I used to, like many of you, until Modern Warfare 2 came out, I actually like this loadout. It consists of the fun MP7, with a suppressor, obviously, a laser sight, a coyote sight, a G18 sidearm, because this is sort of that troll 420 YOLO swag loadout after all, and a repair tool, and the Wally the expendable bot. So the MP7, right? It's fun as hell, and in reality made in Germany by H&K as a competitor, I suppose, to the Belgian P90. It's a small submachine gun that you can hide anywhere, sort of like the P90 again, except it has a foldable foregrip and a collapsible stock. It's an Uzi-like layout with the magazine going into the pistol grip, which in real life isn't the 40 round clip like it is in Battlefield 4, I believe, but this thing is designed for armor piercing bullets with a spectacular muzzle velocity of 720 meters per second, which is obviously a far cry from the in-game stats. And now, in the game though, it's fun as hell to use, right? Its rate of fire and its large clip of 40 rounds make it just fun as hell to spam at the enemy. Unfortunately, you know, I've said this plenty of times, I am completely against and don't understand DICE's decision on making the PDWs an engineer-only weapon in Battlefield 4. Unlike the all-class weapons they were in Battlefield 3. I mean, it would make sense in the real world, I suppose, where the engineers and tank drivers, you know, don't have the space to keep an AK next to them and need something in a much smaller package. But this is a game after all, and as such, we don't have to concern ourselves with the space issues, you know. And I think engineers need something a bit more in the game with more, you know, range and accuracy. It's still an awesome weapon in the game though, right? It still gets out damaged by the sheer power of lead per second of the likes of the ASL, but what it loses in damage it makes up for in magazine size. You remember that extra magazine capacity perk in Battlefield 3 that we had to equip if we wanted a bigger magazine size? Well, here we get 40 rounds right off the bat. It will do a mediocre maximum damage of 20 at 15 meters, which drops off to 12.5 at 47.5 meters. And now that all the PDWs in Battlefield 4 do a slightly different amount of damage, you can really pick the one that's right for your particular situation. Its magazine is, as I said, a full 40 rounds, although if you, you know, spray and pray like a true MW3 420 YOLO swag Doritos 360 no scope MLG, then, you know, you're gonna run out but quick. And speaking of, its rate of fire is a very quick 950 rounds per minute, and its muzzle velocity is a hilarious 420 meters per second in the game. So it is sort of that for 20 YOLO swag, Blaze It, Doritos, Mountain Dew, MW3 material. An unexpected little tidbit right there. But as I said, this muzzle velocity is a far cry from reality, but obviously things have to be balanced somewhat in order for them to work in the game and still remain fun. In fact, I don't know if anyone has noticed this, but one of the variables in this and other FPS games is a completely made up gravity constant for each projectile in the game world, like the bullets and the RPG shots, and whatnot, because it is in fact a constant in the real world, hence the name constant. It remains constant, but in the game, because different projectiles need to have different drops over distance, DICE gave them different gravity constants, like the very aerodynamic bullet from the SRR 61, which drops only at 6 meters per second, which is why it's such a joy to shoot at ranges. And on the other hand, the nails in Hardline, which come out of the nail gun, which drop at a spectacularly bad 80 meters per second, I believe, making that probably a record in the line of bad bullet drops over distance. But back to the MP7. The thing also reloads pretty quickly, clocking in at a short reload, clocking in at 2.4 seconds, and the long reload, which is just a tiny bit slower, clocking in at 2.65 seconds. So the point is, no matter if you wait for the long reload or not, they don't really differ all that much time-wise. It will recoil up at 0.35 degrees per shot, which is right up there, especially considering its blazing fast rate of fire, and it also has a first shot multiplier of 2.15. Now, the MP7 has an integrated foregrip, so you can't really fit anything else on there, but it's actually not a bad foregrip. Now, this is actually one of those situations out of very, very few ones where I think it's actually acceptable in Battlefield 4 to equip a laser sight on your gun. And you know me, I've said this many times before, I usually don't think it's a very good idea to run a laser sight on your guns because, they don't help all that much on assault rifles with their pretty big hipfire spreads. Anyway, they give away your position, and I don't tend to spray and pray from the hip anyway, as mostly I try to ADS on my targets. So, the laser sight becomes mostly useless. On PTWs, however, with their small hipfire spread, you can really see how a laser sight could be helpful. I'm actually sorry I didn't calculate the laser stats here today on my gun stats overlay, as I usually try to calculate them myself, as SimTick for some reason doesn't post the laser stats on their site. As such, my calculations come out wrong most of the time because it's a matter of, it's more than just a matter of multiplying the laser stats by the hipfire spread. There's a whole bunch of other stuff to plug into the formula and to get the hipfire spread, and even then some people tend to disagree on the numbers that get plugged in, so some people get different results. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Ridiculous Loadout, and now because I don't feel like suffering alone, Carlton must also run this loadout and upload it to YouTube, and I'll accept the link down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Please rate and share this video, that helps my channel grow. Check out my other videos at the end of this one, and remember, in Soviet Russia, YouTube subscribes you.